All right, welcome to TeagleTalks, the heart and hustle, where passion meets purpose and we turn big dreams into bold moves. My name is Sarah Teagle, business consultant and owner of Teagle Consulting, public speaker and author of The Sisterhood of Success, the heart and hustle of women entrepreneurs. If you are ready to level up your business without losing yourself in the process, you're in the right place, so let's get started. I have a very special guest in today, Sandy Harrison, who is the owner of Better Way Realty in Russellville, Arkansas. How you doing, Sandy?
I'm good, Sarah. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I am excited. We had a conversation last week, and we decided to bring it into an episode because I know that a lot of people can resonate with it. And so one of the things that we were talking about was running a business, running a family, juggling life. It's easy to let your priorities slip or yourself on that priority list, right? So let's dig in with everybody to see how we struggle. We're going to be open and honest.
Absolutely.
And so let's talk through self-care in business, right? So Sandy, what are some things that you incorporate into your fitness journey? Or do you have a story where maybe you know, we all have different seasons where we go through things.
Yes.
Share kind of, that what got you talking to me about it in the first place, and then we'll, kind of just go from there.
Yeah, well, I think, Sarah, the hardest thing is you hear a lot of chatter on what you should be doing, and especially, I'm over 50. And so for older women, especially, you're hearing all sorts of information, and it's hard to kind of take all of that and put it into practical everyday use. Yeah. And that's what prompted my conversation with you, was like, I'm hearing this and I'm hearing that, and I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
How do I bring that into every day? And so, I think the most important thing for me is how I start my day.
Yeah, true.
And that sets me up for my whole day. I have a very sacred morning routine that, does not involve a computer or a telephone, but it does involve the outside and a cup of coffee. And so just getting my day started, I try to take a walk every day. If I can't do anything else, I at least try to get some outdoor time and take a walk. So that's one thing that I do try to incorporate into most of my days.
Yeah, I like that. I like how you said it doesn't include the screen.
No.
Right? Because I think that's what we had talked about, is like before we get up, when we get up, and that morning ritual should not involve work.
That's right.
Check our emails, doing this. Like, I know we get busy, we do all those things. One of the things that I find, for me at least, that is helpful is when I do have that morning routine, is it helps me increase my energy, the focus, and all of those things. Like if you, like you're saying, take a walk or go sit outside and have a cup of coffee. Do you find that to be true for you?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like it puts me in the right frame of mind for the day, and just kind of prepares me to tackle any issues, any problems that come along. If I start my day with social media, or I start my day with the news or something like that, that could put me in a bad mood for the rest of the day.
Man.
So that, I am not a big social media user anyway. I get on, I try to wish everybody a happy birthday. I maybe scroll for a minute or two, and then I put it away. I know it could be a huge time suck. Yeah. And so, and I don't watch the news. I feel like I do too. The news, I'm like, my husband said something to me the other day that the engagement between Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce made the national news. And my comment was, at least they're reporting something positive for a change.
I mean, that is true.
That's, right? Everything I hear is negative.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I don't watch the news.
Exactly.
Is because I don't want to hear that.
I don't either.
If it doesn't impact anything I have going on in my business, my productivity, how I'm trying to make money, what I'm trying to do to grow, I don't really, I can't even put it in my brain to have space. I think maybe my brain is just that full.
Yeah.
And we know as moms and as business owners that we only have a limited amount of space in our brain.
That's exactly right. And we have to show up for other people. And so
True, yeah.
whether it's our employees, whether it's our family, whether it's
Yeah.
our community in general.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the more negativity we fill that space with, the harder it is for us to show up in a good light.
Yeah. And I think we've talked about that positivity, which to me equals energy. Like that positive energy, the positive, anything we're putting out positive, we get back positive.
Exactly.
And so for me, the positivity is almost like a currency as an entrepreneur or business owner, because if we're looking at everything in a negative lens, we're not going to get anything back positive, and that's an energy drain. Like that negativity, for me at least, it sucks the life out of me.
It does. It really does. Rough. So, when I opened A Better Way Realty, I modeled kind of our business plan after the book Ninja Selling by Larry Kendall. And one of the things that the Ninja Selling motto teaches us is what you focus on expands.
Yep.
And
100%.
so that is kind of what I try to remind myself every day, all the time. What you focus on expands.
I like that.
And so if you're focused on the negative, and I have to remind my husband of this from time to time, because if you're focused on the negative and you're seeing all the bad stuff in the world or in the community or the things that go on, that's what you're going to get.
Yep.
But if you're focused on the positive, no matter you may be making it up in your mind, but if you're focused on the positive, then you're going to get more positivity.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that. And I think that correlates with mindset. So when I'm working with clients in Teagle Consulting, we talk a lot about mindset, like the CEO mindset, all of that. But your body and your mindset go together.
Yes.
So if you're bringing in that negativity and your mindset is negative, that's the only output you're going to have.
Exactly.
So I like that. I'm gonna write that down.
It's amazing how that negativity affects every part of your body and every aspect of your life.
Have you ever read the book Your Body Keeps the Score?
No.
Okay, I have read that book. I did a 75-day hard challenge months ago, and that was one of the books I read. And it incorporated that your body keeps the score, meaning anything you have going on internally, negativity, any physical thing, any emotional trauma you're holding on to, anything like that, your body is demonstrating that in your daily life. It could be in stiffness. It could be in gut digestion and health. It could anything.
Yes.
And so that was eye-opening because, as you're growing and you're healing and everybody has an emotional journey. Everybody has stuff that's happening.
Absolutely.
That, what you just said reminded me of that. I was like, man, I'm a reader. So,
yes,
all of those things. So let's switch and talk through what are some ways, when we treat our health like a business meeting and we make it a non-negotiable, what are some ways you get in some habits? Like, for example, for me, I kind of habit stack, or I in the middle of a meeting, I might be stretching, right? If I don't have to be on camera, or, we could walk during a meeting versus having it in a room, right? Like a meeting room. Or I've had business meetings where I go on a hike with somebody and we talk about the business. So incorporating fitness into your business in any way possible.
Yes.
How are some ways that you do that?
Well, one of the main things that I do is I have a standing desk, which
Yes,
I absolutely
same. I know
love.
We talked about that. Yeah, I do
so
too.
it was probably one of the best investments that I have ever made.
Yes.
And the thing that I really like about it is, and it's a big L-shaped desk, and the whole thing goes up and the whole thing goes down.
Yeah.
And it also has a timer on it.
Yes.
And so I make sure that I set my timer, and you don't have to have a fancy desk with a timer. I used to have a paper, the boxes that the reams of paper came in.
Yes.
I used to have a paper box on top of my desk.
Same.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
mine was an empty box.
Yeah, it was empty.
And
Oh,
I
yes.
put my laptop
Yep.
on it so I could just stand.
Exactly
So I
right.
could be like,
That's how I started. And
Yeah.
then it was just a matter of setting a timer on my phone or maybe a little kitchen timer so
Yes.
that I'm not sitting all day because, you know, as a business person, I find that I can get just sucked into the paperwork and the business. And by the time I look up, it's 3:00 in the afternoon and I've been sitting for 2 or 3 hours. And so I make sure that I set that timer and that I am getting up, moving around, you know, walking down the hall, walking around the office, you know, whatever it is. Try to do that when I'm on the phone. You know, and then I have other things that I do. Like I said, I try to walk, try to do that. Not as much for weight loss or fitness, but for my mind. Just to, you know, when I walk, I usually go to the state park in the mornings and I walk and I have no earbuds and I have no podcast and I have no music and I just listen to the sounds.
You're just
and
in the moment.
Yep, just in the moment and not worried about anything, just fresh air, sunshine. And that's going to be more important going into the fall, getting that sunshine. Yes.
So I have 2 questions because I'm going to write this down. One of them I'm going to come back to. But
Okay.
You talk about you get up in the morning. Are you a morning person?
I am not a morning person.
Okay. So I know when I'm talking to people about fitness and business or mindset, you know, I have my ritual. In the morning, I wake up at 4 a.m. From 4 to 4:30-ish, I'm drinking my coffee, having my devotionals or reading or, you know, and then I work out for at least an hour. And then I start getting my kids up and ready for school. And then, you know, and then everything starts, right?
Yes.
And so then I'm on the go. But if I have time between meetings, I'll fit in a workout. Or if I set time aside, right, which that's like the time blocking. But one of the things that I've found in the morning is if I don't prioritize myself, nobody else will.
Exactly.
Right? And as women, I think that's huge because we give our energy to a lot of different people, like you said, employees, I mean, our kids, our spouses, or whoever it is in our life. We put out fires all day long.
Yes.
And that stress level can get high. But one of the things that I started doing probably about a year ago was walking every morning. And then I incorporated walking 3 miles with a weighted vest, right? Now I've been working on running and training for a half marathon and doing some of those things. And I know not everybody is going to be a morning person.
Yes.
So I wanted to share, while now, yes, we do morning stuff. You can also do that at night.
Yes.
Right? Because I used to be a night owl years ago. And I would do my workouts when my kids went to bed.
Yeah.
So if they went to bed at 7:30 or 8, then I would be working out 8 to 9, 9 to 10. You know, have you ever went through those seasons?
Oh,
where it's
yes.
Days and nights and...
Absolutely. And I think everybody has to find what works for them. So, you know, people ask me, well, are you a morning person? Well, no, but I'm not a night owl either. I consider myself a day person.
You're more productive throughout.
I am during the day. But it's how I set my day up. So my morning routine, I get up and I'll spend probably an hour just having coffee, no phone, nothing, you know, and then I will get my agenda out and I will look at what do I have during the day. You know, being a business owner, being a realtor, I'm a practicing realtor. I list and sell property every day. So my schedule changes daily. So I schedule daily. You know, this is what my day is going to look like. Now, do I have time to work out in the morning? Am I going to take a lunch break and go home and work it? Because I have a nice setup at home. So I can go to the gym at home. Or is it going to be in the evening, maybe with my husband? So my days look different. I try to get in a walk every day if I can, even
Yeah.
if it's 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It just sets me up for a good day. And then strength training a couple days a week, maybe some high intensity work, maybe, and it's only 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Sometimes less is more. So I'm not going to try to kill myself, go to the gym for an hour and a half, 2 hours. That doesn't
Yeah.
work for me.
Right.
You know, and I think that it's important that we look at what does my day look like and what can I realistically fit in. So
Right.
some days I don't fit anything in. Maybe it's a little bit of yoga, 15 or 20 minutes of yoga, and that's it. That's all I get that day.
Yeah.
But at least I did something.
Yeah.
You know, I've been really busy the last year, helping my mother build a house, been renovating an office building to move
Yes.
our company in, as you know.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so it's been a very, very chaotic year.
Yeah.
And there were times when I'm like, wow, I really got to get back into the gym. I really got to get back into working out. I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And I just had to step back and just kind of give myself some grace and say, hey, this is where I'm at right now in my life. This is what needs my attention.
Yeah.
And then I'm still going to take care of myself as I can and do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And I try to eat well. My husband and I, we don't do fast food. We don't, there's a lot of things that we don't do and a lot of things that we do. So that never changes.
Yeah.
We cook at home most of the time and we eat pretty clean.
Yeah.
So I think that's important.
That's another huge thing, right? Because if you're going through a season where you're not going to be able to prioritize yourself, even if it's not fitness, right? But prioritizing yourself could mean fitness to some people. It could mean building your mental health to some people, right? And that could be in reading books for self-improvement. That could be going to therapy. Like all of these things go towards your health, no matter what it is, right?
Yes.
So I think the other thing too is that nutrition, even if that is what you're focused on, right? I like that you brought that up, like eating clean. Even if you're not able to work out that day, then you need to make sure your nutrition is on point.
Absolutely.
Or if you're in a season, like a year of a season where you're like, man, it's just a lot going on. You know, maybe you have a sick child, you have a business that's struggling, whatever the case may be, then your nutrition is where you focus, and making sure that you are eating clean, you're maybe meal prepping, you have healthy snacks, because all that is going to play into your fatigue.
Yes.
Right? And
Absolutely.
then you're not going to be able to prioritize your business
Yes.
in the way that you need to. So it's funny it's not funny, but it's how all that ties together into prioritizing yourself and your business. That's huge. So I'm glad you brought up nutrition because it's not always that. And
yes.
you mentioned too that your desk, right? So I know we've talked about I've seen your desk.
Yes.
And also for me, I think my standing desk helps with my posture, helps with I can stretch my hamstrings or do some of those things. And I'm on a call, but nobody knows because it's below the camera.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
One thing too that I am curious about, because I know some people fall into this, is like when it's about to start getting cold.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And depression or falling into that during the cold months.
Oh, yes.
I struggle with that.
Absolutely.
Right?
Me
Like,
too. Yes.
When it starts, I'm like, my peak season
Yes.
is the summertime.
Mine too.
Right?
Mine too.
And so I think it's good for us to talk about that too, is because not only do businesses go through seasons of like famine and feast and all of those things, but your body does. And the way you prioritize yourself in that season can impact yourself and your business as well.
Yes.
So I'm glad that you can identify with that as well,
Yeah.
because I was going to put myself out there like,
No.
I mean, I'm the only one.
It's hard. Yes.
But
you have to take the time. I have to take more time during the winter than I do during the summer. It's harder for me during the winter.
Yeah.
The summer, it's easy for my husband to be out on the golf course or out fishing or
Just get out
kayaking or something.
I
I mean,
love that.
that's easy and I can get the sunshine.
Yes.
The wintertime is a lot harder. I do not do well. I don't mind so much the cold. I don't do gloomy.
Yes.
I tell my husband, I said, okay, it's day 2 of rain. Now I need the sunshine. I can only take about 2 days, and that's it. So I've got to see the sun. And so it is hard during the wintertime. I have what I call my happy lamps. I have one at home and I have one at the office. Okay. And so I'm able to turn that light on and sit in front of that light for 20 or 30 minutes a day, maybe two times a day if it's really bad. But still making sure that I get outside, even if it's just for 15 minutes. I may be bundled up, but just getting that fresh air and getting outside is important.
Yeah, I remember. So it had to be towards the end, or it was kind of colder, but when I did the 75-day hard challenge, there was one day where I had to get out in a raincoat, like a windbreaker, because you have to have an outside workout and an inside workout, 45 minutes, 2 times a day.
Yep.
And so what we've decided to do this season is starting this 75-day hard challenge in October, right? So then we're carrying ourselves into the cold season. So I'm interested to see how that's going to work.
Yes.
Because I get the same way. If it's, especially the time change, when it starts getting dark at 5.
Yeah. It's hard.
It rattles my mindset, right? Yeah. It's like, man. So one of the things that I've found that helps too is not only the routine, but having that accountability partner. It's like, hey, did you get outside? Hey, and you and your husband, I think, that's where you guys are at, because I know both of you guys, so I can see like, if you're in, like, hey, are you coming to work out when you get home, or, just tying you in. But also having a personal trainer or going to a group class, right?
Absolutely.
I know that's key.
Yes.
And having that synergy of, I know I'm going to go do this for 45 minutes. You walk in, you walk out, and you're done.
Exactly.
And some people just need that.
That's right.
If you can't work out at home, right? Like you and I, we've talked, we have some gym setups at home. Yes. And then also, at QC training, we have the gym. And some people just need that to get out. Like, I think about my sister. She's like, I could never work out at home. And she loves going to the gym. That's her time to go unplug from her kids and her career and lay it all out. Yes. And then go home and then you leave and you're like, okay, I'm ready. I'm good. Yeah. So I think that's key too, is like sharing your routine, even if it's small. Yes. Then keeping that and staying that consistency. That's the key too.
That is. And I think you have to know what works for you. So in my profession, going to the gym was not very productive for me. It was productive in my involvement with the community, but I would see 20 people there that I would talk to.
I can see that.
So the fitness wasn't on the top of my list. So it's better for me to work out at home because I have no distractions. There's nobody other than my husband to talk to. Yeah. So I'm not talking shop, or I'm not talking to this client or that client or that friend. That's right. It's a networking. It's a reunion. So I think it's important to find out what works for you. And I feel like as women, we have to have somebody to hold us accountable because we put everybody and everything ahead of ourselves.
100%.
We always have, we always do. My kids are grown and gone, and they come first.
Yeah.
I will
thought
still.
That would change.
It doesn't.
Dang.
It doesn't. And I'm very blessed. I guess I have 3 sons. I raised 3 boys, and I talk to them pretty much every day. At least one of them, if not all 3 of them, every day.
That's
and
awesome.
They're scattered throughout the country. But we just tend to put everybody before ourselves, and so we need somebody to say, "Hey, did you eat something healthy today? Did you go for a walk? Did you get outside? Did you do something for yourself?" And I think we feel like it's got to be a 2-hour production, or it doesn't. It can be 15 minutes in the morning. It can be 10 minutes at lunchtime, and it can be 20 minutes before dinner or after dinner. We tend to have to break it up in chunks because we don't always have that luxury to do it all at once, but that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's okay.
I like
It works.
that.
Yeah.
One of the things I noticed, even just probably within the last year, and to me, I've become a lot more disciplined in if I set a goal for myself. Now, I've always been very goal driven, right? But in the form of fitness and really just taking, I think, it to another level, right? Is if I tell myself tomorrow I'm going to get up and I'm going to go lap swim. Then when that comes and I don't feel like it, I get up and go lap swim.
Yeah.
Right? At 5:30 in the morning.
That's right.
Because what I'm telling myself by following through is I am enough and I am important.
Yes.
Right? And sometimes that is all we need, because I know that when I'm doing it, now swimming is my favorite activity, so not during swimming. But let's say I'm talking about a run, right? Like on the weekends, I do more of a long workout, so I'll do a long run.
Yes.
And that would depend on, where I'm at in that journey. But let's say I'm about to go run 7 miles. Not only do I want to just vomit before I go do that, because it's like, here we go.
Yes.
But if I know that I started, I know I'm going to finish, because that's what mindset I'm in. If that highly disciplined mindset.
Yes.
Of I'm going to bed early because I've told myself I'm going to get up at 5 and I'm going to do this.
Yes.
So keeping my word to myself and staying disciplined. I think a lot of people will have conversations, especially moms, because we get tired.
Yes.
We got laundry, we got, cleaning, we got bath time, we got all of these things, right? And I got younger boys. So I got, homework, and I got school activities and all this other stuff. But if I'm not able to make a commitment to myself, what kind of commitment am I bringing to the table for my clients?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I had a epiphany probably a year and a half ago of like, I got to start really following through on every single thing in my life that I speak, because I'm speaking it out into existence, right?
Yes.
And so if I'm speaking it, I better put action behind it and do it. Oh, sorry. I better put action behind it and do it.
Yeah.
And then you start building that confidence. Your productivity, you see, starts to increase. Your business starts to increase.
Yes.
Your network, it's kind of like you pull in
Yes.
all of that good energy,
Yes.
right? But I felt like, and also giving myself time and permission to rest.
Yes.
As moms, like I struggle with that, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I need to be doing everything.
Exactly.
Do you ever struggle with that?
Oh,
like, just
absolutely.
arrest?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, there's days when it's like, my body needs to not do what I had planned to do today.
Yeah.
I think it's important that, like we said earlier, find what works for you. There's an activity like swimming. I love to swim, but running is my thing that I love to do. I am a runner. I've done a half marathon. I volunteer with the Runnersville group every year, which is a fantastic thing that gets women to walk or run, to do a 5K every year. And so a lot of fun. But I think everybody has to find what works for them. But then I think we have to be kind of flexible. I mean, we're flexible with everybody else in our life. Our kids, if something changes, we are the first to say, oh, no big deal. Okay, well, we'll just do this, or we'll do that, or, dinner will be this instead of that. We're very flexible in everything except ourselves. We are not flexible with ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think we really have to listen to say, what do I need today? Maybe it's just a walk on the treadmill, or maybe it's a walk around the park, or maybe you do have a little bit more that you need to do a little bit more strenuous activity. And I find that even if I just tell myself, I'm going to do 10 minutes, that's it, I'm going to go, I'm going to do 10 minutes, I find that I do more than 10 minutes because it makes me feel good. I feel better when I work out. I feel better when I'm active.
Yes.
It's the same thing with my diet, with what I eat. I find if I'm cheating, if I'm not doing well, if it's been one of those weeks, or we've been on vacation, or whatever it is that I'm having dessert every night, or I'm eating things that I probably shouldn't be eating, mostly processed things.
Yes.
Added sugar. Boy, oh man, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And so, making sure that I'm not doing those things, getting back to the basic clean eating, I feel better. And the better I feel, the more I want to do. The better I feel, the better job I do for my employees,
Yes.
for my family, for my clients, for my community in general. The more energy I have, just
Yeah.
it's just kind of a vicious circle.
Yes. And sometimes I feel like I treat fitness as like leadership training, right? Like I'm training myself to be disciplined.
Yes.
I'm training myself to hold myself accountable to higher expectations. Because I was just having a conversation with my oldest, he's 13, and he's a basketball player and he's an athlete, and I tell him, you got to be careful of what you put in your body, right? Like we're talking about processed food. So he recently got this watch that, it tells him how many steps he got, how many calories he's burned, how many, wore it to school, comes home,
Yes.
gets in the car, and he's like, man, I burned 1,000-something calories, blah, blah, blah. And so I took the time to educate him on, remember when you want McDonald's? For, fast food in general, right?
Yes.
And I said, so think about that meal that you want to eat that's fast food. That just is 1,000 calories, if not more.
Yeah.
And you have eliminated your entire day of work. You just put in all this work.
Exactly.
Right? You went to practice before school. You went to school. You went to practice after school.
Yeah.
And now the fast food, especially for kids, right?
Yes.
Like, how can I just have this? Can I have
know.
that? A soda alone is like 500-600 calories.
Yes.
And no, do athletic kids, like, is that, but at the same time, it's like, hey, you're doing all this work. Why are you wasting it on fast food?
Exactly.
You
And it's not just that you're counteracting, you're eating in all those calories that you just burned, but you're not getting anything out of those calories. There's no nutritional value. Yeah, you're not getting the things out of that, hamburger or whatever it was, French fries, a Coke that your body needs. And so it's not, I look at it as it's not just that I'm undoing the work that I did in the gym, but I'm also not setting myself up for the next workout or the next day because I get nothing out of it. So I gave up fast food a long time ago.
Same.
That's not fast food to me. Might be a pizza, occasionally.
And then I have to do the thin crust because
and then
all the bread,
do thin crust.
and
it's loaded with veggies. And
some
protein and a lot of veggies. But that's kind of our fast food because that's pretty quick. Yeah. But I can make a sandwich. I can make a fried egg sandwich or a peanut butter sandwich just as fast as I can go through a drive-through.
Yes.
And I can have maybe some fruit or some veggies with it, and that's a lot faster. My husband and I now we tend to make dinner at night, and we take leftovers for lunch the next day. That's the easiest thing for us.
Yeah, and what I do too is if I'm having a really busy day, I'll make sure that I grab snacks. Mm-hmm. And, if I'm in between meetings or if I'm working from home or whatever the case, I'll have apples, oranges, bananas.
Yep.
Anything that can be of substance, but is not going to throw me off. Because I find if I'm going to eat unhealthy, then the brain fog alone impacts me in business the next 2 to 3 days.
Absolutely. At least 2 or 3 days.
And
just
it's crazy.
The heaviness and the grogginess and the brain fog and and that just sets you up, well, I don't feel like doing anything today. And so, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
When I am not eating good, when I can see it in my production over the next 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And just how I feel. The better I feel, the better I want to do,
100%.
So, and then when I start getting into that habit of, I'm having dessert every night or I'm eating, potato chips or that kind of thing, then the more my body wants, because, that you just crave that stuff. You just get all out of whack. But I find that when I get off of that and I'm eating good, then that's what I want to do. I want to do better, and because I feel better.
Yeah, that mind clarity.
Absolutely.
And then that makes you be able to, make better decisions in business.
Yes.
For your employees, for yourself, for your kids, for whatever you got juggling on in life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely can relate to that. Because, for me, if you can't pour into yourself, you can't pour into anyone else.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's like, I always have to take a step back and be like, who am I pouring into the most?
Yeah.
And now it doesn't always have to be me, right? Again,
Sure.
those are those seasons.
That's
of
right.
Like, hey, sometimes I'm going to show up for myself, but if my cup is always empty,
yeah,
and nobody's pouring into me, and I'm not pouring into myself, how can I expect to have good business results or show up for my employees or show up as an employee to somebody, right? Even if you're not a leader or business owner, how are you showing up as an employee for, or showing up for your kids
exactly.
or your spouse or whatever? So
exactly.
to me, I think that's good. I know that we all have our things, right? They get us through the day. What is one thing that is a non-negotiable for you, whether it's business or fitness related, or, as far as one thing in your day as a ritual that you're like, no matter what happens in my day, I don't stop doing this?
Well, I think for me, the thing that is non-negotiable is my morning routine. My husband knows if he's up before me and I walk outside with a cup of coffee, he does not speak to me. Because he is very smart. 30-something years of marriage, I guess. But that sets me up for the day. That is a non-negotiable for me. I need that quiet time. I need to wake up and have some peace before my day gets crazy.
Yeah.
And because I never know what direction it's going to go. I could I could go to bed one night with one appointment, and then by 7:00 the next morning, I have 3 appointments and something going on that I need to fix. And so the morning is a non-negotiable for me. As far as just sitting down with a cup of coffee. So a cup of coffee, I definitely say that is I will have to have my coffee in the morning.
It's like
it's decaf,
hug.
But I have to have my my coffee in the morning.
Hug,
it really is. It really is. Just kind of, that smell of the coffee, even though it's decaf, there's, no fuel in there. It's okay.
Yeah.
That gets me started. That gets me going. Yeah. And so I definitely say that is non-negotiable. And breakfast. I have to eat something for breakfast. It's not immediate. It's not large.
Yep.
But I have to have something to get me started.
Yeah.
So
you feel like that jump starts your...
I do. It's like,
body,
okay,
like
wake up.
awakening.
Yep. It's like, okay, time to get to work now. I've had breakfast. Time to get to work. And like I said, it doesn't have to be a 3-course meal, but something. It may be just a protein shake and a banana or something. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think for me, not only the morning ritual, I'm very routine. Yeah. I'm a routine person. I'm very, cut and dry of what's happening, what's not. I think for me, the workouts, at least 45 minutes a day, I have to have movement.
Yes.
Movement of some kind, right? It could be running, swimming, it could be walking, it could be stretching.
Yeah.
I love yoga. I have certifications in yoga, and that's one thing that I'm very passionate about. It just helps with my mindset and my body feeling, just so great. I mean, the flexibility, the mobility, all of those things. So, I think that's a big piece of my routine, and it doesn't have to be in the morning. Like sometimes I may, oversleep, or if an emergency happens, or, the other day that there was a thunderstorm happening. Well, I didn't go work out.
Yeah.
So I stayed home and stretched and worked out and just had some quiet time.
Yep.
Bringing my day in with peace and clarity, and leaving the day with peace and clarity.
Exactly.
You know, for me, those are some of my non-negotiables. So,
Yes. Yes. I think it's just different for everybody. Everybody needs to find what works for them.
Yeah.
And then you have to give yourself grace throughout the day or
Yes.
throughout the week, because not everything is going to go like we plan, unfortunately. Especially in business, something always happens.
Yeah.
And so just kind of pivoting and figuring out, okay, well, I can't do this, but I can do that.
Yeah.
And that to me, that kind of gives me a feeling of control over my life, as far as, okay, well, this didn't work out, but I can do this.
Yeah.
And it might not be much, and it might not make a dent that day in my health, but it will make a dent over a long
Long-term.
period of time. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so,
I like that.
And just to remember that we are, people are watching us. We influence a lot
Yes.
of people, and so the way we show up for ourselves and the way we take care of ourselves is very important.
Yes.
And so I think that is something that I've had to keep in the back of my mind. Even though I didn't raise daughters, I raised sons, but
Yeah.
they still watch. They
Yes.
see how I handle things, how I take care of myself,
Yeah.
how,
That's so true.
yes.
I had one of my sons ask me the other day. I came in from a run, and I'm dripping in sweat, and he was like, "How do you do it?
Yeah.
How do you do it? Like, how do you even want to go do 7 miles at 5 a.m.?" And I thought, I just get up and do it, because
Yeah.
I've made that decision.
Yes.
And I've told myself, that's kind of like that self-control, right? Is if I can not control what anybody else does,
That's
how
right.
my day goes, what fires I got to put out for the day. Just before we came in here, right? I looked at you and I was like, whew, I got to put all this stress on the shelf,
That's right.
and I liked that analogy that you put, right? Like, put it on the top one.
Yeah, put it in a
Put
box.
it on the top one, put it on the box.
Way in the back.
Because we have to compartmentalize.
Yes.
And it does help me personally de-stress in a world full of stress. And even if, I feel like business owners are probably some of the most stressed out people. And we walk around and nobody would know that we're the most stressed out people.
Yeah.
Now I kind of, with my consulting, right, and my clients, they unload that stress for me so I can provide solutions, right? And so that's part of what I do is I might go for an extra workout, like a walk, and think about that client situation, and that helps me to build their solutions as I'm walking, and taking it off of me and saying, okay, how can I help my client, and using fitness, that time frame, to clear my mind of every other stress, and then think about their problem and
Yes.
come up with a solution.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so I've also used fitness for that in, it's kind of like having a business meeting with myself.
Exactly.
That's
exactly right.
It's a brainstorming session of, hey, if I need to, I have a client meeting at 2, I need to come up with solutions. The night before, you might see that I'm going on a long walk.
Yes.
To, and then get in the car and jot that down.
Yes.
Or, come back to the house and make a plan for them. And so, thank you for coming and sharing that and
thank
sharing
you for
all
having
of
me.
these.
Yeah.
So we know, as we kind of wind down, that let's have prioritizing our health isn't selfish, is strategic. And I want to point that out. The stronger and healthier that we are, the more energy, focus, and clarity that we can bring to our business and to our families, right?
Yes.
So I want to put a challenge out there. I'm going to be your accountability partner for the week. But if we put a challenge out to anybody that's listening, that, maybe this resonated with them, maybe whatever nugget they took out of it. But I would say the challenge for the week would be to schedule, even if we have to put it in our calendar, right?
Absolutely.
Is schedule 3 20-minute sessions into the calendar.
Yeah.
And time block that out. I know I have a client that I'm working with right now. We time block out his workout sessions.
Yes.
Because he loves to work out, but he got away from it because of some distractions going on in his business.
Sure.
And so if we treat that like a team meeting and like a strategy session, to me, that's where I resonate, and notice how your energy shifts, you know, when you start to honor your appointments to yourself. So if you're listening and you need a challenge, or you don't know where to start, here's the right place to start.
Exactly.
Is, 20 minutes workouts on your calendar. And if you've loved this conversation today and you want to share with another woman, entrepreneur, man or woman, remember to prioritize yourself, and don't forget, because we go unnoticed. And you can dive deeper into balance, mindset, and leadership in my book, The Sisterhood of Success, which you can get on Amazon. Connect with me at Teagle Consulting and see how we grow our business and lives together. And also, shout out to Better Way Realty for you. What can you, do you want to shout out where you are, any of your information, and how they can contact you if they're interested in real estate?
Well,
in the
absolutely.
area?
So we are at 701 South Arkansas Ave, right in front of QC Fitness.
Yes.
And so we are all about real estate. Now we have a whole office of healthy people as well that prioritize their health, mental health and physical health. But, we love real estate. That is our passion. We love educating people about real estate. A lot of people don't think they're in the position to buy or sell. Just come in and talk to us. Like I said, find us. You can find us on social media, web page, abetterwayar.com. So look us up, and if you have questions, we are honored to help.
Yes, I love that. And I talk to your staff a lot about health and
Yes,
wellness.
yes.
They'll come ask questions, fasting, and all these things. I know that's a whole nother topic. But,
Yes. Yep.
But yes, also shout out to QC Training. If you are looking and don't know where to start, you need a personal trainer, you want to get into the gym, contact Quentin Collins at QC Training. Our business is actually connected, so we're also at 701 South Arkansas Suite B.
Yes.
And so until next time, keep leading with your heart, keep hustling with purpose, and take care of you.